The notice requirement provided for the
Recording
open
in
public
progress.
meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given. Said notice had been transmitted to the Courier News on Friday, January 6, 2023, as well as posting on the city website. May I have a roll call, please?
Council members Graham.
Present.
Councilman Good.
Present.
Councilman Hockaday. Councilman McKenna.
Present.
Councilman Wyatt.
Present.
Vice President Briggs Jones.
Present.
And Council President McCray.
Present.
We have all members present and a quorum, Council President.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 13th, 2023?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The 2024 reorganization meeting will be held January 7th, 2024, 3 p.m. in the council chambers, which is right here in the courthouse. There will be a presentation by Councilman Wyatt.
January 7th.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, tonight we have with us the Plainfield Lady Cardinals. I would like to present them with a resolution. Lady Cardinals, can you please come up, please? And council, could you join me in front? All right, please forgive my voice. I'm a little under the weather. Whereas the city of Plainfield is dedicated to celebrating the accomplishments of its outstanding citizens, groups, and organizations. And whereas the Plainfield Lady Cardinals, a shining example of talent, dedication, and teamwork, have demonstrated their excellence by securing first place in the regional competition. And whereas their impressive victory has earned them the privilege of representing our beloved city in the upcoming national competition in Florida, which we just came from. Whereas the city of Plainfield takes immense pride in its local talents and supports its youth in achieving their dreams. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Plainfield that the city of Plainfield hereby recognizes and congratulates the Plainfield Lady Cardinals for their remarkable first place finish in the regional competition. The city extends its heartfelt best wishes to the Plainfield Lady Cardinals as they embark on their journey to the Nationals in Florida. And we are confident that they will make us proud. This resolution shall be made public and conveyed to the Plainfield Lady Cardinals as a symbol of our city's unwavering support and encouragement. And we have one more. Coaches, can you come up? All right, we have with us some of the coaches from the Plainfield High School, the Plainfield Cardinals. This resolution is presented to them and the football team. Whereas the Plainfield High School Cardinals, representing our city with pride, have achieved remarkable success in their recent football season. And whereas the Plainfield High School Cardinals achieved a significant milestone by defeating Elizabeth for the first time since 2009, demonstrating their dedication and teamwork. And whereas their outstanding performance and unwavering determination led them to secure a spot in the playoffs, marking the first playoff appearance since 2010. And whereas the Plainfield community is immensely proud of the exemplary sportsmanship, hard work, and accomplishments of the Plainfield High School Cardinals, as they have been a source of inspiration and pride for our city. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Plainfield proudly recognizes and commends the Plainfield High School Cardinals for their exceptional season, celebrating their victory over Elizabeth and the return of the playoffs after a decade. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to the team, coaching staff, and supporters for their dedication and contributions to our community. Your achievements are a source of pride for us all. Thank you, guys. You can just speak on the accomplishments. I know that the head coach is the Union County Coach of the Year. That's a major accomplishment. I know that some of our players have some accomplishments, so if you can just speak to that really quick.
Yeah, so right by my side is a couple seniors. Got Eddie Williams, he came from Bishop R, so he came to change this program around. Got Kendall, he's going to play school somewhere. He's going to go to school somewhere. Elijah, he's going to go to school somewhere as well. And also we have a Kent State commit here, who's a 4-year starter. He'll go to school as well.
All right, that's nice.
All these players you'll see play at the Solution.
Very nice. Very nice.
And here we have the head coach who just was named the Union County Coach of the Year. Coach Williams, would you like to say something, please?
First, I want to thank the city of Plainfield. I want to thank the residents of Plainfield for your support. And this ain't the old Plainfield, it's new Plainfield. And all these kids are going to school with our GPA. When I got here, was a 1.8. Now our GPA as a team is a 3.5.
Woo! Woo! All right.
So, I want everybody to keep supporting us, and we're gonna bring the chip home next year.
All right. All right.
Consideration of public hearings, second reading and final passage. We have ordinances MC 2023-38 through MC 2023-41 and bond 1278 through 1280, which are scheduled for the public hearing and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. Public comments limited to resolutions, motions, and ordinances to be introduced on first reading. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for public comments limited to resolutions and ordinance being considered this evening. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If any member of the public would like to call in for public comments, please dial 646-558-8656 and enter the meeting ID 938-3643-9534. Dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. This information can be found on the city website as well as on YouTube channel. The floor is now open.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mary Burwinkle, 1785 Sleepy Hollow Lane. On Resolution 423-23, I would like to thank my second Ward City Council member, Sean McKenna, for his public service over the past 4 years. Sean is a Democrat who values good government and sound decision-making, and he did not compromise those values. He ran in elections off the line and took campaign contributions only from individuals, not from vendors or the party. He owed his loyalty to the citizens of Plainfield, not to any other elected officials. Sean recognized that City Council and the administration are separate branches of government and checks on each other. He was always prepared for council meetings. He questions actions of the administration when he did not believe they were in the best interest of the city. He voted yes on resolutions and ordinances, far more than he voted no, contrary to statements by his detractors. He was not afraid to say that all development is not good development. He spent hours volunteering for food insecurity and other causes, and he tried his best to help constituents in the Second Ward and elsewhere in the city when they asked for help. He was a true public servant to the people. Thank you, Sean.
Nancy Peaver, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. This is about resolutions and motions, correct? First, I would like to thank the Department of Public Works for submitting an application to the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities for Resolution 443-23, particularly the one for the Drake House. I think it's a good idea and forward-thinking for America's 250th celebration that's coming up in 2026, when we expect a lot of tourists in the area of the Central Jersey area for the Revolutionary War. If this grant is awarded, the city may be the first one in the county to have a historic site with EV stations. I would only ask that they do not locate them too near the old house. I also would like to speak on R 427-23. This is quite out of the ordinary for the Muhlenberg Foundation to consider this grant because in reviewing the last 2017 nonprofit form that was posted online, it is almost 6 times the amount last awarded. There also may be a typo in the backup information because it says October 2023, and I believe it might be 2022. It's not in the resolution, but it's in the backup information. This resolution refers to EMS providers. Does this only include Hackensack, Meridian, JFK, or does it also include the mutual aid providers such as South Plainfield and Union County? Hackensack, Meridian, and JFK provides EMS services to 11 other municipalities. How will it be documented that the money appropriated would be strictly used for Plainfield and no other municipalities? The 2 closest municipalities to us are Edison and Piscataway, which wouldn't necessarily have an issue with, but all the other ones are way down, and a lot of them are in Ocean County or Monmouth County, and I just want to make sure, like Atlantic Highlands, Matawan, Red Bank, Sayreville, and Shrewsbury don't get some of our funding. Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Kathleen Nietzsche. I live at 716 Huntington Avenue in Plainfield. I'd like to thank the many first responders that have attended to the recent events at Richmond Towers.
Excuse me,
and
which resolutions are you
This is
speaking
gonna
to?
be Resolution R427-23. I'd like to thank the many first responders that have attended the recent events at Richmond Towers and the recent 2 fires in Plainfield. A special thank you to the Union County Ambulance Services and the surrounding area mutual aid fire departments assisting Plainfield Fire and Police Departments at these events. We appreciate your dedication and selfless aid to the Plainfield residents. My question is concerning the proposed 700,000 Muhlenberg Foundation Resolution R 427-23. My mother-in-law, age 94, is a Plainfield lifetime resident born in the house her father built in Plainfield. As her caregivers, health care is always on our mind. The Muhlenberg Foundation was originally created for Muhlenberg Hospital with the intent to provide Plainfield with services located and provided to Plainfield residents. The city has contracted with Hackensack Meridian / JFK Edison and JFK in South Plainfield for paid regional ambulance services. It's my understanding that Plainfield currently shares Hackensack Meridian / JFK ambulance services with surrounding towns. My comments pertains to the physical stage JFK ambulances for Plainfield residents and the physical proximity to our homes within Plainfield city limits. In the current contract, how many physical ambulance units are staged in Plainfield for the day shift? How many ambulances are staged in the night shift from JFK? And what is the currently weekly call volume to Plainfield provided exclusively to Plainfield residents from Hackensack Meridian JFK? Will the release of the Muhlenberg Foundation additional $700,000 guarantee the city of Plainfield staged or more ambulance coverage located within our city limits of Plainfield? Or will we continue to share Hackensack Meridian / JFK ambulances and South Plainfield JFK ambulance services with surrounding towns? As a condition to release the Muhlenberg Foundation $700,000 in additional funds for ambulance services, please consider requiring Hackensack Meridian / JFK to provide Plainfield residents exclusive ambulance coverage physically within our city limits for 24 hours a day. Thank you so much for the consideration.
Public comments in-house is closed. Are there any public comments online?
Yes, we have 2 people with their hand raised.
Good evening. My name is Laura Miranda Brown, and I live at 1345 Highland Avenue. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I am calling in this evening with 2 thank yous. The first is with Resolution 422-23 to Councilman Barry Good for his years of service to Plainfield. I, as a resident, have taken my kids to many library days. I've seen him in and out of the library. I really want to thank him for his hard work and care for the children of Plainfield. And my next comment is for our 423-23, again, thanking outgoing Councilman Sean McKenna for his hard work in our second ward, for always being available day or night to respond to his constituents. And a heartfelt thank you from those of us here in the district. Lastly, I just wanted to let you all know there's a 45-second delay between the video stream on YouTube and the telephone calls. So if there's anybody else who's trying to call in, there's quite a delay. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Anyone else?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Good evening. Darrell Stroud, formerly 927 West 6th Street in Plainfield, calling to speak on Resolution 422-23, thanking Councilman Barry Good for his service in the city of Plainfield. Barry's been a man of the people. Barry has been someone that has gotten things done for the residents of Plainfield, and I just wanted to call in to make sure that he knows that he was appreciated, not only by myself as a resident of Plainfield, but also many residents across the city. Thank you so much for your service. And on 422-23, Mr. McKenna, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your time.
That is it.
Public comments are now closed. Do we have Legislative Body Resolutions 422-23 through R 426-23. Do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Would the business administrator please present her items?
Yes, sir. Okay, I have 5 items. Can you hear me? You hear me okay? Okay. I have 5 items on the agenda for you this evening. The first one is about the $700,000 grant that we're receiving from the Muhlenberg Foundation for the JFK EMS services that we have in the city of Plainfield. I did hear that there were a couple of questions, so I just want to speak on it briefly. We, at all times, 24/7, have 2 JFK ambulances centrally located in the city of Plainfield. And that is what we entered into a contract with earlier this year, I believe it was July, for $350,000 a year. Now, those 2 ambulances are always located in Plainfield, except for obviously when they're transporting someone, if they're transporting them out of Plainfield. And we are also offset with 1 ambulance at all times from Union County. So we always have 3 operating ambulances in the city of Plainfield at all time. If one is broken, they have another one in. At all times, there are 3 here. Now, what I want to say about the $700,000 grant is that when we got this contract with Muhlenberg, the mayor and I had a conversation with the president of JFK, and they offered to offset some of the costs for what this would be. And the mayor fought very hard for us and had many Zoom calls with them to make sure that they would make us whole for at least 2 years for this service because of the Muhlenberg Foundation and the relationship with the city of Plainfield. After a few months of this back and forth, we were able to secure 2 full years of funding for the offset of this cost with JFK. And so I've been wanting to bring this to your attention for many, many months, but we've been in negotiations. And I'm very pleased to bring this forward tonight for 2 years that we won't feel the cost of our EMS services here in the city of Plainfield. So very excited about that. In terms of the question of are these ambulances always in Plainfield, they are. However, if we think of a situation, let's say somebody in Scotch Plains and they have the ability to save a life and they're not working in Plainfield, would we tell them no, turn that person away? Obviously not. But yes, these are designated for Plainfield. The second resolution that I have is a shared service that we're looking to enter into with Elizabeth. I've been talking in the past couple of meetings about this new lead legislation that requires us to inspect rental units for lead. So part of the legislation is that we need to enter into a shared service with another municipality who has this requirement. And that's what we will be doing, and then hiring together somebody to do the actual inspections. Then I have our state health benefits resolution. This is one of the major items in the budget, so I want to speak a little bit about it. Our state health benefits plan is going up about $1 million. That's a 6.4% increase. This covers all of our active employees' medical, our active employees except for police prescription, and our retirees. Our retirees are about $6.5 million of this cost. We've talked a lot about this as a group over the past year. We did put in earlier in the year to see who would bid on us. At that time, we had talked about the HIF being a potential. The thing is, our benefits are on a 2-month delay, which means when we leave the state health benefits, we're still going to pay them for 2 months and pay our new vendor. So there will be 2 months of a double premium, which means we can only do it in the start of a budget year because we need to budget for that expense. So back in July, we couldn't switch. We didn't have the money to pay an extra 2 months of premium. We have to wait until a new year. So in order to go back out, in order to get quotes for the new year, we had to give more recent data. And in the more recent data that we gave, everybody declined to bid on us. The HIF declined us, Cigna declined us, Aetna declined us, Horizon Private declined us. The state health benefits is our only option. So I'm bringing this to you today as the only option for health benefits for the city of Plainfield employees. And the reason they declined us is not because of our medical care, because of our prescription. Our prescription costs are just too high. just too high. And so we'll be doing a lot of education about that, about generics, et cetera, but, we have a lot of retirees on the plan, and this is the cost of carrying us. Like I said before, that covers active employees for medical, and not police for prescription. Police contractually have their own prescription plan, active police. And so what you'll see in our 430-23 is the police prescription plan for active police employees. That's the same price as it was last year. That's no change. And finally, I have an annual resolution that we do from personnel, which is certifying our compliance with the EEOC, enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records and employment decisions. This is essentially the ban the box legislation and just indicating that we are complying with that.
Okay, Councilman Hochday, any questions?
No, no, these seem to be pretty standard resolutions here. Just seeing the amount that we pay, though, for our medical and prescription coverage, it's a significant part of our budget. So, but it is unfortunate to hear that, it's not a competitive landscape because of our prescription costs, which just has me overall think about just the health of Plainfield in general. I know this is just city employees, but always in my mind is how to make Plainfield healthier, have people get ahead of having to take prescriptions, by being healthy and eating whole foods, et cetera, and just leading healthy lifestyles. I urge that for all Plainfielders. But regarding the resolutions, no questions. Thank you.
Councilman Wyatt?
Yes, just a question and a comment on R429-23. First, I would like to say thank you for looking into the information about the HIF and reporting back to the council. So when you said the prescription coverage was too high, so when I looked into it, I spoke to several organizations, and they said the issue was that we take care of our retirees, and a lot of them don't. However, they said in the future, because it's rising for everybody, that they're going to be taking a look at that. So I just hope that we keep this conversation ongoing next year when it comes up. But thank you.
Councilman McKenna?
Yes, just one question on R427-23. How is the financial arrangement set up with Muhlenberg Foundation? Are they paying Hackensack Meridian directly?
No,
Or-
it's a check to us.
And they do it once a year?
Actually, they're going to do it all at once.
So they're going to give us $700,000 to cover the 2 years?
They're going to give us $700,000, and then we're going to use that to pay the next 2 years of ambulance services.
And we pay Hackensack Meridian how often?
Well, we're going to pay them annually, $350,000.
So one time a year, they give us a bill and we give them $350,000?
That will be starting in 2024.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Graham?
Yes, for R428-23, for the shared services for the lead grant, are we hiring individuals or a company to do our inspections?
It's a huge number of inspections, so it will likely be, we didn't put it out to bid yet, so I don't know who we're hiring yet, but it will likely have to be some sort of a bigger company, because I don't know how one person could do that many.
Sure. Yep. Thank you.
Councilman Good?
No questions.
Madam Vice President?
No questions.
Do I have consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any objections? Would the corporate counsel please present his items?
Thank you, Council President. I have one item for consideration by the council this evening. This is an extension of a lease for the Veterans Center to be operated by American Legion Post 219. Since the development of the senior center, it was put in the master deed that not only would we have a senior center, but that it would also be a veteran center. The mayor has advocated and seen to it that the Veteran Center has always been operated by our local veterans. In this case, American Legion 219. The mayor is once again asking that the council re-up the lease and that we continue to support our local veterans in this way. Thank you.
Councilman Hockaday?
No questions.
Councilman Wyatt?
That's just one. Is there a specific rationale behind renewing the lease agreement in one-year intervals?
Unless otherwise specified by statute, generally contracts are 1 year. I don't recall if we have any leases that are more than 1 year, and it's been customary that we do that. I would recommend it as council that we do it on a yearly basis simply because things may change. This particular local veterans group has been very good about continuing to, maintain the Veterans Center, provide, programs, but that may not be in the future. So we want to make sure that we continue to keep an eye on it. But for that reason, I recommend it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman McKenna?
No questions, thank you.
Councilman Graham?
No questions.
Councilman Good?
At least extension is the least we can do for the sacrifices that they have made.
Madam Vice President?
No questions.
Do I have consensus to place this on the consent voting meeting?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions, any objections? Would the Finance Director please present her items?
Good afternoon. I have 6 resolutions for your consideration. Resolution 433-23 is an agreement between Mercury and the City of Plainfield. And what Mercury does, Mercury provides lodging services, and more recently, they were able to speak to the governor's office and secure grants for $1.5 million for the Center of Excellence and $2 million for broadband services. Resolution for renewal of agreement between the City of Plainfield and Public and PGIF. This is an annual agreement for property, liability, and workers' comp insurance. Resolution to continue shared services with the Township of Ocean, and this is for CFO services. And resolution for transfers. This is the usual transfers we do in November and December and the first 3 years of the new year. And resolution to refund 100% disabled veteran. And the last one is resolution for tax refund for duplicate payment. Are there any questions?
Councilman Hafiz?
Sure. For our shared services agreement with the Township of Ocean, I know that is, covering our CFO, Ricky Gartz, his role is current, is it assistant or acting CFO? What's his title with that?
He is CFO.
Okay. So does this shared service agreement give us access to other employees in the Township of Ocean, or only Mr. Gartz?
This is only Mr. Gartz.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman White?
Yes, just one question here, I'm sorry. First, I would like to begin by expressing my deep respect and appreciation for our veterans, and this is on a resolution. Let me just pull it back up, sorry. About the disabled veteran, I can't pull the number right now. I know that we spoke about this the last time, and I know that we aspire to offer them even greater support, and I'm aware of ongoing discussions regarding expanding the disabled veteran tax exemption beyond its current 100%. So that means now you have to be 100% disabled in order to be tax exempt. But the discussions that were taking place with the taxation was that if a person is 30% disabled, that they will receive 30% off. So I know that conversation has been ongoing. I do fully support that initiative, yet it's crucial for us to engage in dialogues with legislators, and we have a lot of people running for governor next year, candidates about reimbursing municipalities. The direct effect on the assessed values impacts revenue, thereby affecting the operating budget. So like many other municipalities, we require relief, and I hope that we can revive this essential conversation. So I'd rather not say let's wait until it's overwhelming for us, but let's try to begin those conversations now, because I see that nobody across the state is talking about it, but Plainfield, I think, could lead the charge with reviving that conversation.
Councilman McKenna?
Yes, I have one comment on the disabled veterans topic. All in favor of looking at options for that, but asking the state to fund it is like taking it out of your right pocket and putting it into your left. So I'm not really sure how that would work. My question is with respect to the shared services with Ocean County. How long are we anticipating doing this continued shared services, or are we looking at a full-time permanent CFO here?
For now, this contract is for 1 year, and we will evaluate it at the end of the year.
I'll repeat. For now, this contract is for 1 year. We'll evaluate it at the end of the year, but we're still keeping our options open to getting someone on full-time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Graham?
No questions.
Councilman Good?
No questions.
Madam Vice President?
No questions.
Do I have consensus to add this to the meeting agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any objections?
Objections? R433-23 and R435-23.
Okay. Police Department, will you please present your items? No, I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening to the council. I have 4 resolutions on the agenda. The first one is a resolution to apply and accept New Jersey Department of Highway Traffic Safety Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over campaign. This is a campaign that happens every year during the month of December. It's for the holiday season. It's basically a DWI program. I just wanted to make a note that normally it's $7,000. This year it's $10,500. We received a 50% increase due to the hard work of the men and women of the Plainfield Police Department. So that's the first resolution. The second one is in regards to auctioning off city vehicles which are beyond repair and present a safety hazard. That's through Gov Deals. We've used them in the past. They're good partners with us. And that's what we're going to try to do, to auction off some of these vehicles and get them out of service. Third resolution is to enter into a 5-year contract with Axon International not to exceed $10,432.80. We're the only municipality in the county who is out of compliance in regards to that. That's why we're using Axon International. It's for the storage of data in our Detective Bureau, and investigations that occur within the Detective Bureau is a agreement that we have with the Union County Prosecutor's Office. The third one is for 2 Malibus for downtown COP. This was done graciously through the Director of Economic Development, Ms. Fields. We need those vehicles downtown to help us in the UEZ area for the COP unit that we have. They'll give us greater use for police coverage and different things that we're doing downtown. And that's all I have.
Councilman Hockaday?
No questions. Keep up the good work.
Councilman Wyatt?
No questions.
Councilman McKenna?
No questions.
Councilman Graham?
Yes, for 440-23, does the Gov Deals, do they take possession of our vehicles and auction them off on a separate site, or how does that work?
No, we have an agreement through them. They just act as a sponsor of it. We conducted some vehicles that we auction off. If they're not giving us enough money for it, we'll pull the vehicles back. But they just kind of facilitate the thing for us, but it's still our baby. So
We
can
keep the
decide what we
vehicles,
wanna do or
and
not.
I guess if someone wants to inspect, or is there like a pre-inspection that happens on our property?
Well, usually they'll do it online. They provide a great deal of information in regards to it. But if anybody wants to come and check out the vehicles, they're more than welcome to. But since it's open over the internet, a lot of people just bid based on what we put on the internet.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Councilman Good?
Just one. Director Abney, will you be the auctioneer?
No, sir.
No other questions?
Madam Vice President?
No question.
Do I have consensus to put this on the voting meeting?
Yes.
All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any objections? Would the Director of Public Works please present his items?
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of the council. The Department of Public Works has 4 resolutions to present tonight. Resolution R443-23 is resolution authorizing approval to submit two grant applications to the Board of Public Utilities for electric vehicle tourism grant for charging stations. Resolution 444-23, resolution also award of a contract to American Asphalt Trucking Company in an amount not to exceed $131,090. That's for road improvements, and that's West 2nd Street from Plainfield Avenue to Liberty Street. Resolution 445-23, resolution authorizing the contract final by accepting a 2-year maintenance bond, releasing a performance bond, and final payment and retainage in the amount of $37,239.73, and that's to Protective Paving. And the 446-23 is to the same company in the amount of $37,159.24, and that's to Protective Paving. Any questions?
Councilman Hakhade.
Judge, just a comment, just to emphasize the excitement that was also expressed by Ms. Pivovar regarding the EV chargers being installed, not quite throughout Plainfield, but we're getting started. It's definitely the wave of the future, using that clean energy in order to power vehicles. It's certainly cleaner, would lead to a healthier Plainfield. That's always where my mind is going. So certainly in support of these and looking forward to more locations where we're able to put these, because it's very encouraging to people who come out of town if they know that, they might be able to get a little charge while they're here. Thank you.
Councilman White.
No questions, just a quick comment, just to elaborate on what Mr. Hockaday said. I think that these are two great locations, and I'm excited about this as well. That's it. Thank you.
Councilman McKenna.
Yeah, I also have a comment on the EV stations. One, I don't know that they're clean energy. They're certainly energy, and it's reducing the amount of gasoline used, but we don't know how the energy is produced. It could be creating its own issues, but that point aside, the Drake House makes interesting sense. It's a physical location. The Plainfield Symphony is an organization. It's not a building. So are we putting this at Crescent Church? And are they, and do these, does this organization, the entity giving the grants, are they good with putting that at a church location, or are we putting it at Swain's?
No, they're good at doing that. We'll do a monitor where they're placed to make sure they're in an area that fits the needs of what the symphony is.
Okay, so where is that area? Because I read through this application, and it says, where is the intended site of the DCF charging station? And the answer was, will be placed together towards the left lane at the parking entrance.
So along the area where the parking entrance is, as well as the sidewalk area, wherever it is, that's where it'll be placed.
No, for the symphony, because that's a church that they play in, right? They don't own the building, they just rent six, 7 concerts a year?
But pretty much we own the sidewalk, so whatever in the area, in that vicinity, that is where they will be placed. We're going to look at everything.
So it's going to be street parking. Someone's going to come for a 2-hour symphony performance.
It could happen, Councilman. It could happen.
Well, I know it could happen, but does it make the most sense? 7 concerts a year, 2 hours each, that's 14 hours. One guy pulls up, street parking, plugs in his car, comes out 2 hours later. I mean, does this make, I'm all for these, especially because we're getting grants, but do we have another place we could put this other than on the sidewalk in front of Crescent Church?
Well, once they come in, we'll definitely set up and make sure we monitor and put them in place where they make sense. To benefit the folks from the symphony and anyone in the surrounding area.
I mean, the symphony's not going to be able to help you with this because they don't own that building.
Well, that's not the symphony, it's going to be the city of Plainfield, like I just said. We're going to make sure they go in place where they need it to benefit everyone, okay, that's going to attending the symphony or any residents of the city. So it's a good move for everybody.
So you're going to install it and then figure out where you're going to put it?
No, we're
That's
going to,
what you said. I was reading the
prior to installing, we'll figure out where we're going to place them, Councilman, prior to installing.
Didn't you have to answer this, though?
Yes, we did. We answered all the questions were answered on that. We're going to look to address it
So towards the left lane of the parking lot entrance, the parking lot is actually on Crescent.
And again, we can revise everything as we get it when it comes to dealing with the Board of Public Utilities. So we'll be fine. It'll work for everybody. It'll work when it's all said and done.
Sounds good. That's all I got.
Councilman Graham?
Yeah, just a quick comment. So the EV stations for employees, will there be EV stations designated for city employees?
Yes, we're working on that at City Hall, yes.
Okay.
Councilman Good?
None.
Madam Vice President?
No questions.
Do I have consensus to place this on the voting meeting?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any objections? Placed on the voting. Would the Economic Development Director please present her items?
Good evening, Council President. I have 4 resolutions to present tonight, starting with R447-23, going to R450-23. The first resolution is to adopt the calendar year 2024 operating budget for our Central Business District Management Corporation, also known as our Special Improvement District, in the amount of $215,000 for fixed operating and events budget. The next one is for a resolution designating 20-34 Somerset Street LLP as the developer for Block 317, Lot 19, also known as our municipal lot number 8 and number 8A. This is also for a land disposition agreement, as well as authorizing the redevelopers agreement. The agreement would include the development of 120 residential units. They would be 100% affordable for senior housing that would be 55 years and up. We would maintain all 119 parking spaces under the municipal distribution and authority through a perpetual easement. There would be a total of 217 parking spaces. The purchase of the land would amount to about $2 million. This includes the $1.8 million in parking lot improvement fees, as well as a $200,000 cash purchase price. The next resolution is to authorize the planning board to conduct an area in need investigation or a redevelopment study for Block 211, Lot 14, or also known for 1502 to 06 West Front Street, and Block 211-16, 1508 West Front Street, as well as Block 236, Lot 7.01, address 118 Liberty Street. This would be a non-condemnation study. The last resolution is to designate the properties identified here so we can move forward with a redevelopment plan or authorize the planning board to develop a redevelopment plan. That concludes my items.
Councilman Hoffaday?
Sure. Regarding 447-23, I took a look at the analysis from 23 and 24. I see the CID director is getting an increase in salary, which I would support, or I do support. I think he's done a pretty good job starting off. But also, you know, it's CID money. They get to decide how they spend their money, so I really have no objections. But I have enjoyed the activity of the CID. I see them, they're becoming a little bit more visible, so I just encourage them to keep doing what they're doing. In terms of 449-23, you said a few things, and I've read a few things that are music to my ears. You said 100% affordable, senior housing. This is something that, you know, I certainly encourage the administration to continue to do, but just to Yeah, how long has it been since we've built senior housing in Plainfield?
So I've only been here a year. This is the first time it's 100% affordable. It's been a while.
Okay, I think that maybe a few years, probably over 10, 15 years at least. But it's something that's needed. One thing, as property values increase and expenses and inflation, I hear in walking door to door that many seniors feel like they're being priced out, of Plainfield. So to the extent that we're able to dedicate our resources and energy to making sure that more seniors get to enjoy Plainfield in a beautiful environment, I mean, that's a win for everybody. So just kudos to you all for coming up with these creative plans to include affordability for Plainfield. But we certainly need more of it. This is hopefully not the end of this, but it's a start that's encouraging, and I'll continue to support endeavors like these.
Councilman Wyatt?
Yes, R447-23. I see on the budget it was $25,000 that they proposed for beautification. What events does that cover?
So the beautification, they're banner signs that you see on the light poles as well as the planters. So this year what they did the planters that were along Front Street in the main downtown corridor that went from Watchung Avenue to Park Avenue, and they also placed some of the holiday banners. So they'll continue with that.
Okay, and R449-23, I do echo the same sentiments about affordable housing. Our seniors do feel like they are being pushed out, but everybody feel like they're being pushed out. So I would love for the administration to really hone in and start looking at affordable housing throughout the city of Plainfield, because people can't afford groceries, they can't afford their rent. People are really suffering and hurting. So I do support this one here today, but I just hope that we see plenty of more affordable housing come before the council. Thank you.
Yeah.
Council President, if I could, I'm going to request that we pull the SID budget off of this resolution. I'm sorry to do this during the meeting, and we will bring it back during reorg.
Okay. Mr. McKenna?
Yeah, just a comment on the SID budget is that the fixed costs go up, but all the operational expenses and event type things don't seem to really move, which is really the benefit of that organization. 448-23, a little concerned, as I've said many times, on the ratio of parking for the building. I get that the city's going to maintain parking, and I'm assuming, Director, that it would be similar to Lot 6, where, did I get that right? Lot 6 behind Bill's Luncheonette?
Lot 6 is East 2nd Street.
Yeah, Lot 6. So Lot 6 is going to have a garage that is going to have dedicated city parking
Yes.
places. This sounds like a similar situation where there will be dedicated city parking plus additional parking for the residents.
Yes.
Based on your lineup. The issue is that 55 and older is going to imply cars. As they get older, maybe less, but, my father's 91 and he's, still driving. But, I think we're running into this issue all the time downtown where we're creating these developments and we're not putting in the necessary parking. We're under this assumption that everybody's going to take the train. They've got to drive to go to the grocery store or a lot of different markets. And I don't think a lot of them are going to be using the transit-oriented development once they get to a certain age. So that's just my concern with that, is that the parking's short-sighted. And that's my only comment.
Councilman Graham?
Yeah, my questions were only for 447-23, but since it's going to be pulled off, I'll wait until it comes back on.
Councilman Good?
None for me.
Madam Vice President?
No questions.
Do I have consensus to place 448-23 through 450-23 on the meeting agenda.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Placed on it. Okay. We now come to, do I have a motion that we take a 5-minute recess?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-minute recess. Councilman Graham?
Universal.
I'm running the meeting, not Sean.
Oof.
May I have a motion to return to meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
Opposed.
One, two, three, four, five. 5-1. We return to meeting.
I lose.
Consideration of public hearing, second reading, final passage. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2023-38 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2023-38 is an ordinance amending the schedule of salaries and wages adopted pursuant to Article 14, Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971 Salary Amendment, Plainfield Fire Officers Association. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Is it in virtual? May I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, may I have a roll call, please?
It's roll call on MC 2023-38. Council members Graham?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday?
Yes.
McKenna?
Yes.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Vice President Briggs-Jones?
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2023-39 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2023-39 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with 140 East 7th Street Urban Renewal, LLC, for certain improvements in Todd South redevelopment plan area. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none in purpose, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law.
Moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call MC 2023-39. Council members Graham?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday?
Yes.
McKenna?
No.
Wyatt?
No.
Vice President Briggs-Jones?
Yes.
And Council President McCray.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading.
Madam Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2023-40 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2023-40 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 837, Lot 1, and designated in the city tax records as 117-127 East 7th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with LE Development at Plainfield LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. May I have a motion to close public comments on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call MC 2023-40, Council Members Graham,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
Hockaday,
Yes.
McKenna,
No.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Council President,
Yeah.
can I ask that MC 2023-41 be tabled at the
Yes.
request of the administration? Thank you.
Okay, we're going to table MC 2023-41.
You need a motion, a motion.
May I have a motion to table?
So
MC.
moved.
May I have a second?
41?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Motion, roll call motion to table, Council Members Graham,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
Hockaday,
Yes.
McKenna,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
MC 2023-41 has been tabled.
41. Yeah.
Madam Deputy Clerk, please read bond 1278 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
Bond 1278 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2023 capital acquisitions and improvements by and in the city of Plainfield in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $13,305,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $9,805,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance.
Is there a way to get the bond index of like all the bonds that we recently approved in the last 6 months? Will that be posted online or will I be able to do that? Including this one, that's why I'm asking.
Oprah.
Thank you.
That mic isn't.
Yeah, I don't
Is
think
there
it is.
anyone online?
No.
May I have a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law?
Moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call on bond ordinance 1278, Council Members Graham,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
Hockaday,
Yes.
McKenna,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
That is unanimous. Bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading.
Madam Deputy, please read bond 1279 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
Bond 1279 is a bond ordinance providing for the purchase of equipment and the rehabilitation of the Watchung Avenue Pump Station for the sewer utility of the city of Plainfield in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $3,700,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,600,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Do we have any virtual? May I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions, any objections? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call, bond ordinance 1279. Council members Graham?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday.
Yes.
McKenna.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Deputy, please read Bond 1280 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
Bond 1280 is a bond ordinance for the purchase of equipment and improvements for the solid waste utility of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $4,200,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,100,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost therefore. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 21st, 2023.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance.
What's the determination, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Name and address, please.
Oh, yeah, so Azim Gray, I'm not discussing my address, but I am an official there.
Um,
I was speaking to-
Address for the record.
Address, 1131 Dorsey. Thank you. So I just got a question just about what's the determination that's being made, whether it's a bond or a note? Like I said, it says bonds
Okay.
or note, right? That's the option for.
Any of the bonds that you're reading, so what decides, it's not or, it's both, is it? Okay,
No,
okay. Does that question make sense? So it's bond or notes, right? Is what the options are, right? What's the determination of it being a bond or note? Just curious.
So I can.
press.
Is it
Yeah.
time back? Okay. So when a bond ordinance is adopted, it gives the right to the municipality to either go out to the market and issue bonds, and bonds would be considered permanent financing. Or you could go out for notes, which that's considered to be temporary financing.
Right.
And based on what interest rates are at any given point in time, you may choose to go out for notes. And you can roll over notes for 10 years. But after year 3, you have to begin paying down a part of the principal of those notes.
Right.
And when the market conditions dictate that it makes sense to go out for permanent financing, then you go to the market
Right.
and you issue bonds.
I understand that. Thank you for explaining that elaborate market analysis for me. I'm just trying to figure out who makes the determination and why.
Well, we do, based on interest rates.
Who's we? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay? It's not some person out there in the universe.
No, I'm
it's
just
the
trying to
city
figure
of
out.
Plainfield.
Okay, the entire city of Plainfield, not a separate designation. That's the only thing I'm trying to figure out, sir. I'm sorry.
No, not the entire city of Plainfield.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure what entity determines
Gentlemen,
that. Yeah,
it's not back and forth.
I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out what entity. Yeah,
It's not back and forth.
I understand.
I think I've given you all that I can.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Any more? Anybody else? May I have a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law.
Moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Roll call on bond ordinance 1280. Council members Graham.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday.
Yes.
McKenna.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for public comments limited to resolutions and ordinances being considered this evening. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If any member of the public would like to call in for public comments, please dial 646-558-8656. Enter the meeting ID 938-3643-9534. Dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. This information can be found on the city's website as well as the YouTube channel. The floor is now open.
Resolution of motions, correct?
Yes.
I want to, Nancy Piver, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I want to thank Councilman Good for piquing my memory about R 432-23. I'm glad the city is considering extending the lease. Johnson Jeter American Post Legion Post 219 is named after 2 young African-American men who lost their lives during World War I. So when you said ultimate sacrifice, that post is named after 2 African-Americans. They both lived on Webster Place. Clarence Jeter was a tailor. James Johnson was a blacksmith. They both lost their lives due to pneumonia from the influenza pandemic in 1918. So I appreciate you allowing me to give them a name and for them to be seen tonight so many years later. I also want to thank Mr. Dabney for the EV station at the Drake House. People don't realize that when George Washington and Alexander Hamilton were here in 1777, they remembered that area, and that's what made them do the quasi-war for it, because we had the necessary materials for the horses, that we had water and grass. So 246 years later, you're in the spirit of George Washington and Alexander Hamilton. So thank you very much.
Wow.
In-person public meeting is now closed. Is there anyone virtual?
Currently no one with their hand raised.
Public comments are now closed. Mr. Clerk, please read the consent agenda. Announce the consent agenda.
Yes, Council President. The consent agenda items have been identified as resolutions 422 through 432, resolution 434, and resolution 436 through 450-23. Resolutions 433-23 have been removed on the non-consent agenda, along with resolution 435-23, and resolution 447-23 has been withdrawn by the administration.
Wait, say that last one again?
Resolution 447.
Oh, 447. I thought you said 447.
May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
It's roll call on the consent agenda items. Council members Graham.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday.
Yes.
McKenna.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
That is unanimous. The consent agenda items have been
Mr.
approved.
Clerk, will you proceed with the reading of the non-consent?
Resolution 433-23, authorizing an agreement with Mercury Public Affairs.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Council members Graham.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Hockaday.
Yes.
McKenna.
No.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Council President McCray.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. Resolution's been adopted. And finally, we have Resolution 43523 authorizing shared services with Ocean Township.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Council members Graham?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Hockaday?
Yes.
McKenna?
No.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Vice President Briggs Jones?
Yes.
Council President McCray?
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. Resolution passes. That concludes resolutions this evening.
Thank you. A total,
Council President?
yeah. Good.
So, Mr. President, I just want to point out the fact that we are all looking at these monitors on the wall, and we take things for granted. I'm saying that we're looking at these monitors that are on the wall, and we take things for granted. And it wasn't long ago that there was a lot of criticism heaped on both the council and the administration for not being able to really speak to a large section of our residents in the language that they're most familiar. And I am speaking primarily of our Latino brothers and sisters. And so with a lot of research, hard work, and determination, the administration has been able to put this in place. And I suspect that we are probably only governmental entity in the state of New Jersey that offers this translation service to its residents and to those that are able to see it, virtually as well. So I just want to make that point to show the progress, how we're advancing and how we're using technology to make sure that all of our residents are able to participate in the meeting. And those of you who are looking at the screen, you can see that it's accurate, it's in real time. And so I just wanted to point that out. And thank you for the time. And thanks to the communications department, for the work that they have done in bringing this technology to the city of Plainfield. Thank you.
Council President, just a point of order. I don't want to rain on the mayor's thing about technology, which, by the way, that's great, but I've gotten 4 texts that the website is incorrect for the phone number to call in, and the YouTube, instead of the Zoom, does not have the number anymore either. So if you could read the number again to those at home so that they can call in, because some people were not able to call in previously.
Okay. A total of 60 minutes has been allocated for all public comments to be presented. Each speaker will be allocated 3 minutes. If any member of the public would like to call in for public comments, please dial 646-558-8656. Enter the meeting ID 938-3643-9534. Dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. The floor is now open. Well, since you broke the mic. No, yeah, please wait.
I could sing something while we're waiting.
Thank you for that. You're welcome.
Thank you, IT.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. My name is Roberto Molina Bon. I live in 247 Whittier Avenue. And while I am not a citizen of this town, Plainfield, I am a citizen of your neighbor town, Dunellen. But I do shop locally here in Plainfield, as my barber shop is actually 2 blocks down, right across from the post office. So definitely love to come shop here. But I didn't come here to gloat about my shopping sprees. I'm here on behalf of the 1,700 nurses at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. And I don't know if you have heard, but we went on strike as of August 4th of this year. So it's been, I kind of lost track, but like 128, 29 days. So we came out fighting for safe staffing. And what this means is that we are on the front line asking for the hospitals to supply enough nurses for us to be able to do our jobs safely. As you may know, safe staffing affects individuals across all industries. But in healthcare, it's particularly important because in the restaurant business, if you don't have enough staff, you get bad service. Your steak doesn't get cooked properly. You may go hungry for a little bit more than 30 minutes or up to 2 hours, depending on the restaurant. But if you don't have enough nurses at the hospital, it can be the reason or the difference between life and death. If I am holding more patients that I can possibly handle, that means that I'm leaving less of myself to the patient that may need it. And if I have particularly 2 patients who actually need me at the time, I may not be able to be there on time to recognize something that might save their lives. We are here asking on you councilmen and councilwomen to possibly pass a resolution that calls upon all our legislators to bring a bill that has been in the Senate for over 20 years, S304 or A4536, to finally bring it to a meeting and call it for a vote. I don't have this resolution with me, sorry for that, but I'll be more than happy to pass that along if you provide me with your contact information and the right person to do so. You can actually join the number of other towns that have already passed this resolution, which include Clifton, Dunellen, Edison, Franklin Township, Highland Park, Monroe, Milltown, and Sayreville. As Piscataway as well, they did a verbal resolution last week. So we're asking that you please try to contact Senator Nicholas Scutari, Assemblywoman Linda Carter, and Assemblyman James Kennedy, as long as on Governor Phil Murphy, to try to pass this resolution and finally bring this bill into an actual law. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ryan Siegel from East Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm also one of the nurses that has been on strike from Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Hospital. In addition to what my colleague just shared, I would like to add that in regard to the strike, it was recently announced that a tentative agreement had been reached between the local nursing union and the hospital. To clarify, the strike is not over yet, and members still need to review the details and vote on whether or not to accept the terms. However, regardless of the nursing strike in New Brunswick coming to an end in the near future or not, it is extremely important that safe staffing bills be passed throughout the state of New Jersey so that all patients can be cared for safely by their nurses. We need support from all of our local officials. This is the reason we are asking for the support of Plainsboro Township by passing a resolution supporting the passing of safe staffing bills S304 and A4536 that are currently in the state legislature. Support from Plainfield is even more important since Senate President Nicholas Scutari is one of the senators that oversees Plainfield. After this meeting, we will email the township clerk and council members the details of the bill and a template resolution. We hope that you take the time to review the bills, the resolution, and decide to pass it at a future council meeting. One of the questions we get is, how can we mandate ratios when there is a shortage of nurses? There are many licensed nurses that no longer work as nurses due to the conditions they faced while working at the bedside. Nurses are discouraging their friends and family from becoming nurses due to the conditions being faced. Nurses are searching for nursing jobs that don't involve working at the bedside. If there truly is a nursing shortage, by not implementing enforceable safe staffing standards, the problem will only become worse. If conditions at the bedside are improved, more nurses will want to continue working at the bedside, more individuals will want to become nurses, and perhaps most importantly, studies show that safe patient staffing decreases mortality, decreases medical errors, and decreases the amount of time a patient must stay in the hospital, just for starters. We will make sure that you have a point of contact available to you if you have any questions for us. Thank you for your support.
Richard Loosely, 310 Hillcrest Avenue. Now, I've struck out twice before, so I just want to make sure that we're on agenda item number 8, general public comments. Thank you very much. So my general public comment has to do with a matter I raised 2 months ago regarding Plainfield reaching out to its residents to inform them of the New Jersey Anchor Program, which expires at the end of this month. As I said, the Anchor Program makes available a rebate to renters of up to $700 and to homeowners of up to $1,750. In my work, I talk to dozens of people a day. In the last 2 months, I've talked to hundreds of people, and I find that many of them still do not know about the Anchor Program. And they're very pleased to be informed that they're eligible to receive $700, up to $700 if they're a renter, or up to $1,750 if they're a homeowner. And I share with them the website that they have to go to, because the benefit is only available from the state of New Jersey if you apply for it. And I would just think that it would be a great service to the residents of Plainfield if Plainfield would use its robocall system to reach out to them. And tell them about the program and remind them that the deadline is December 31st and encourage them to apply. Because certainly we could all agree that the more tax dollars that are returned to renters and homeowners, the better off the residents of Plainfield would be. Thank you very much.
Nancy Pivovar, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I wasn't going to get up, but I want to support the nurses that are here. I'm a longtime union rep for my local in this town, and I did write letters on their behalf to various people. But the importance of this for this city is because Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Hospital in New Brunswick is a level 1 trauma center. So whenever we have anybody in a bad situation in this city, that's where they get taken. So it is imperative that you consider the request, because people from this town are taken there, especially gunshot victims. And so I appreciate that they showed up here tonight, and I encourage you to listen to them and do what they requested. Thank you very much.
Hi, Zeeb Gray, 1131 Dorsey Place, Plainfield, New Jersey. So first, I wanted to say, by way of ADA requirements, I would like extended time. I'm neurodivergent. No? You can't get extended time if you proclaim that you're neurodivergent under ADA? All right, I'll check into that. So first and foremost, what I wanted to say is that NJSBA just changed the state code in order to allow cohort classification in order to improve our graduation rates. That directly is going to impact our property values. If it's possible, I would like the city to study it. I think it's an important thing that the policy committee has done on the school board, led by Sarah Virgo, myself, and also Jocelyn Castro. So I think it's very, very important piece of legislation that we change. Other school boards or other boards have tried to change it over a 12-year period. It took us 6 months to do it. So that's important, laudable effort to acknowledge. In addition to that, I wanted to also mention my disappointment in our board liaison. So the board liaison intentionally tried to harass and blackmail me by saying, I quote, "This is a setup that I have pictures and video of you and another woman," right? So, again, this is somewhat diminutive of character, right? So I wanted to see if, at the very least, I want to continue doing the job that I'm doing well, right, in my first 6 months. I want him removed from his board liaison position and be barred from the property. I don't think he's produced board liaison reports. You correct me if I'm wrong. But the basic things that we're asking our elected officials to do, he's not doing. So I just want to be able to do my job without fear of threat or reprisal or harassment. So I wanted to see if the council can weigh in and make sure that board members aren't afraid to do their jobs and to do it well. Thank you. Oh, last thing. Can you make sure he's stripped of all his committee appointments as well? Because I don't think he's doing his job. I would like to see that happen as well.
Seeing no more in person, it's closed. That,
All right. Good evening, Council President McCray, City Council Mayor Mapp, and the City of Plainfield Administration. I am Carmen Cedar-Pyle of the great city of Plainfield, New Jersey. And I appreciate this opportunity to wish Councilman Barry Good all the very best. Your humor on this council will be very much missed. And again, I do wish you the best. And to you, Council President Charles McCray, under your presidency, you have done an awesome job on keeping these council meetings orderly. And you are, may I say, one of the best council presidents during my time of attending council meetings. Mayor Mapp was one as well. And to you, Mayor Mapp, you have clearly brought Plainfield forward. These screens are great, and it is only a fraction of the progress that you and your administration has brought to Plainfield. Thank you.
okay, now in-person public is closed. Are there anyone virtual?
We have 3 people with their hands raised.
Caller ending in 694, can you unmute yourself? You're allowed to speak. I'll come back to that individual since they have not unmuted themselves.
Next.
Caller ending in 744.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Laura Miranda Brown, and I live at 1345 Highland Avenue. I just wanted to let you all know that those of us who are viewing online cannot see any of the screens that the mayor has mentioned. I assume that it's camera angles, but we cannot take advantage of that online. And second, I tried calling in earlier during the bond question. I had a question regarding that. It seems a little late now, but it really had to do with how these bonds would affect property owners' taxes. It's, I think, I recall about $17 million that will be issued in bonds, and when they would be hitting our tax records. But again, I believe those have already been voted on. So thank you for taking my call, and I just wanted to point out that we can't see the screens online. Thank you.
Caller ending in 030, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
It's Gloria Pankowski, 1117 Woodmere Place in Plainfield. A few things. Can't we do better than this?
Ending in 030. Can you please unmute yourself? I believe you're still listening to us, whether it's on YouTube. You might need to mute that and speak with us. Hi, we can hear you.
Hello, it's Gloria Pankowski, 1117 Woodmere Place. Can't we do better than this? Number one, I think we should go back to Zoom where in real time people could converse with you. That's number one. The very beginning of this meeting, the volume was so low I couldn't hear anything. Number two is if you really wanted public participation, it would be very good to have the agenda published 2 weeks before the meeting and probably have two separate meetings, an agenda meeting as well as a real meeting. And number three, I just wanted to thank Sean McKenna for his excellent service to our city and to the residents of the Second Ward and to the residents of Plainfield. Thank you. Good night.
Caller ending in 632. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good evening, Sarah Virgo, 920 Sherman Avenue, Plainfield. I'll be brief this evening. I'd just like to express my appreciation to Director Abney for the recent invitation to attend the active shooter training that was hosted by the Plainfield Police Department. It took place, I believe I attended a Saturday session, and we were there for a few hours, understanding what police officers are facing during an active shooter situation. Hopefully that never happens in our district or anywhere else ever again. But the opportunity to attend and just better understand what safety measures are being applied and how they're most effective and what obstacles may come up was actually really informative and very helpful. So I know that I'm often, or I have been critical in the past. I do like to recognize when things are being implemented and extended to commissioners that are really helpful in allowing us to do our jobs properly. So thank you very much once again, Director Abney, for the invitation. Thank you.
And caller ending in 694.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to start out by, I have to say who I am. Elizabeth Ferroni, 320 West 38th Street, Manhattan. I want to start out by thanking the nurses who spoke tonight. I understand their struggle and I fully support them. So, of course, I'm here to talk about Grace Church. I always show up for that. For almost 2 years, I have been one of many who have worked tirelessly to prevent damage to historically significant portions of Grace Episcopal Church. More than 2/3 of the Gothic Grace Church complex was built by renowned architect Robert W. Gibson. You are probably familiar with many of his buildings, such as the library at the New York Botanical Garden and the Cartier building on Fifth Avenue. While the plan that was approved last week by the Planning Board preserves the shell of Gibson's architecture, it calls for demolishing Gibson's parish house, which is attached to the sanctuary and was built during the site's historically significant period. I fear not only for the fate of the parish house, but for the supposedly preserved sanctuary. I don't trust demolition workers to demolish the parish house without harming the structural integrity of the sanctuary. The plan also calls for removing 44 stained glass windows and other leaded glass windows and probably removing the carillon. The community outcry for protection of this historic property and Memorial Garden has been pushed back against very strongly by the city government. When we initially came to City Council on May 9th, pleading with you to say no to the resolution authorizing the Planning Board to conduct an in need of redevelopment study for Grace Church, you said yes to the resolution after corporate counsel permitted Barry Good to shut down the conversation between council members. That should have been a red flag, causing you to postpone your vote and learn more about the church. A church as important architecturally as Grace Church with the Memorial Garden should never have been presented to you as a property that was in need of being redeveloped. An inspection of the church in 2012 found the church to be in fair condition and the building had not been abandoned. In fact, services and other activities had been occurring in the church up until the COVID pandemic began. And although the church is now closed, it continues to be maintained. So here we are today. The planning board approved a plan that destroys so much of a church that took almost 100 years to fully assemble. Churches like this aren't just built in a few years. The Congregation of Grace Church carefully selected a highly skilled architect that was born and trained in England and knew intimately the designs of Gothic architecture. The church was built using techniques and skills that don't exist today. Slowly, stained glass windows were added, many of them memorial windows. The carillon was extremely expensive. Their bells were forged in Paris, and to install it took sophisticated engineering and a lot of physical and intellectual effort. I grew up in Plainfield in the 1970s, which I think were the best times for Plainfield. There had been white flight, and the boot was lifting off of the necks of black people. There was some hope in the air for a better future. There was some possibility that the black community would bear the fruits of their labor. Grace Church is actually a fruit of their labor. It was built by the hands of former slaves, and that
Mayor, would you like to make a comment or anything? Before we adjourn, I have two resolutions thanking Councilman Barry Good and Councilman Sean McKinney. Can we please stand and give them a round of applause for the service that they provided to the city? Would you like to say something?
Good evening. Wow. I would just like to say that it was a pleasure and an honor to be able to serve the city of Plainfield, and not just in the 1st and the 4th Ward. When you are a member of the governing body, sometimes you will be called from different parts of the city. And at no point in time do you turn those constituents down. You serve them just like you serve the wards that you represent. It was a pleasure, and I enjoyed what I did. I'm a team player, and I left no stone unturned. I met the needs of the constituents as they were requested by myself. To the administration, they were a joy to work with, both past and present members. I would like to think that each member of the administration, I would like to think that we each had a connection in some way, form, or fashion, whether it was a laugh or just working together to get things done. To the Honorable Mayor Mapp, thank you. And again, thank you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for entrusting me for the 8 years.
To paraphrase my colleague, Barry Good, I had something to say, but he said everything, so I have nothing. But I do just want to say, first of all, thank you for the privilege to serve, but also say that it's important that my colleagues and future council people next year and 10 years into the future continue to do the job that's expected of them, that we all learn about in civics and social studies and government, whatever they call it where you went to school, and serve the purpose of a legislative body, which is a check against administrative and legislative branches, to work for the people. One gentleman, I think it was a little bit of a misspeak, but it might also be a New Jersey speak, which is regarding the nurses' strike, we should call Scutari because he oversees Plainfield. He doesn't oversee Plainfield. he represents Plainfield. I represent the second ward. Everybody up here represents the city and their respective wards. We don't oversee anything. I also want to say that I think that it's important for the public, with a little help with some better technology for online activity and participation, to continue to be vigilant, ask questions, attend meetings, push back, ask for information, whether it's here or Dunellen or North Brunswick or Clifton or Waterloo, Iowa. That's what we're supposed to do. And lastly, I'm going to gain 25, 30 hours back in my week, but I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to keep fighting the fight. I'm going to keep asking questions, and I'm going to keep pointing out when things are not correct, transparent, or done properly to serve the citizens of Plainfield. So I appreciate the 4 years. I look forward to the time back in my day, but I'm sure I'll spend it causing issues somewhere, good trouble, I guess they call it. But I thank you all very much, and I thank my council colleagues for the honor that I can have in my personal memorabilia.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is now adjourned.